Your body is betraying you. That's what it feels like, isn't it? The chronic pain that won't go away. The symptoms that persist despite every medication, every treatment, every doctor's visit. You've tried everything, and yet, here you are, still searching, still suffering, still wondering if you'll ever feel whole again. But what if I told you that the most powerful medicine you'll ever encounter isn't in a pill bottle? What if I told you that tumors have melted, literally melted in 10 days, without drugs, without surgery, without anything except the power of the human mind? Let me be clear. This isn't pseudoscience. This isn't wishful thinking. This is documented medical research. 159 patients with medically incurable cancers. Average survival time, 24.4 months, over twice as long as expected. And some of them, they didn't just survive. They healed completely. Here's what nobody tells you. Your body isn't separate from your mind. It never has been. In a holographic universe, every thought, every belief, every image in your consciousness is already creating your biology. Right now, this moment. The placebo effect? It's not fake. It's proof. Placebo has been shown to be 56% as effective as morphine. Think about that. Your belief, your expectation, can rival the most powerful painkiller known to medicine. So here's my question for you. If your mind can make you sick, can it also make you well? The answer is yes. And the evidence is stunning. I'm going to show you case studies so profound, so well documented, that they'll shatter everything you thought you knew about healing. We're going to dive into the holographic nature of consciousness and how it rewrites your biology at the cellular level. But I need you to come with an open mind, because what you're about to learn has been hidden in plain sight. Ready? Let's begin. Here's the thing. Most people who suffer from chronic illness share a common experience. You've been told that your condition is permanent, that your body is broken, that the best you can hope for is management, not healing. You've sat in doctor's offices, you've swallowed pills with names you can't pronounce, you've undergone tests, scans, procedures, and maybe some of it helped for a while. But the underlying issue? Still there, like a shadow you can't shake. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe a very dangerous lie. You started to believe that healing happens to you, not through you. You've been taught that your body is a machine, a mechanical system. When it breaks, you need an external mechanic to fix it. A doctor, a drug, a procedure. The idea that you could influence your own biology? That sounds too good to be true, too simple, maybe even irresponsible. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. What if the reason you haven't healed isn't because you can't? What if it's because you don't believe you can? Let me tell you what I've learned studying the holographic model of consciousness. In a holographic universe, the observer and the observed are not separate. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotional states. They aren't just reactions to your body, they're instructions to your body. And your body? It's listening. Every single moment. Think about the last time you imagined something frightening. Your heart raced, your palms sweated, your muscles tensed. You didn't consciously command those responses, they happened automatically. Because your brain couldn't tell the difference between the imagined threat and a real one. That's the holographic principle at work. In a brain that operates holographically, the remembered image of a thing can have as much impact as the thing itself. Now here's the radical part. If your mind can create symptoms, stress, headaches, nausea, panic attacks, through imagination alone, then it stands to reason that your mind can also create healing. But we've been conditioned to dismiss this. We call it the placebo effect, as if it's somehow less real, less valid, a trick, a fluke. What if I told you that placebo isn't the exception? What if it's the rule? What if every healing you've ever experienced, whether aided by medicine or not, was ultimately orchestrated by your own consciousness? Most people never consider this. Because if it were true, it would mean taking responsibility. It would mean confronting the beliefs you've held about your body, your illness, your limitations. It's easier to stay a victim, easier to believe you're powerless, but you're not, and I'm going to prove it. Let me introduce you to Frank. Frank was 61 years old when he was diagnosed with throat cancer. Advanced stage. The prognosis was grim, radiation therapy was his only option, and even that offered little hope. But Frank did something unusual. His doctor, Carl Simonton, taught him a visualization technique. 3 times a day, Frank would sit quietly and imagine his cancer cells as weak, confused, disorganized. He'd imagine the radiation as bullets of energy, powerful, precise, deadly to cancer, but harmless to healthy cells. And he'd imagine his white blood cells as a vast army sweeping through his body, carrying away the dead cancer cells. That's it. That was the entire protocol. No special diet, no experimental drugs, just visualization. 3 times a day, 15 minutes each session. 2 months later, Frank's cancer was gone. Completely. No trace. And here's the kicker. He experienced no side effects from the radiation. None. His skin remained healthy. His energy stayed strong. The doctors were stunned. But Frank? He wasn't surprised. He'd seen it happening in his mind first. Now, one case could be a fluke, an anomaly. So let me give you the bigger picture. Dr. Simonton went on to study 159 patients with medically incurable cancers. Patients who'd been sent home to die. He taught them the same visualization techniques he'd taught Frank. And the results? The average survival time was 24.4 months, over twice the expected 12 months. 63 of those patients were still alive after 4 years, and some experienced complete remission. Here's what nobody talks about. This isn't magic. This is your holographic mind interfacing with your holographic body. In a holographic model, information isn't localized. It's distributed throughout the entire system. Every part contains the whole. Your thoughts aren't just electrical impulses confined to your skull. They're wave patterns that permeate your entire being. When you visualize healing, you're not pretending. You're not engaging in positive thinking for the sake of feeling better. You're encoding a new pattern into the holographic field of your body. You're giving your biology a blueprint, a set of instructions, and your body responds. Because that's what it's designed to do. But here's where most people get stuck. They think, well, I've tried thinking positive and it didn't work. And I get it. I really do, because there's a difference between wishing for something and actually creating a coherent signal. Frank didn't just hope his cancer would go away. He didn't just think happy thoughts. He created a vivid, specific, sensory-rich image 3 times a day, every single day, until that image became more real to his nervous system than the disease itself. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you gave your body clear instructions? When was the last time you told your immune system exactly what to do, not with words, but with images so vivid your body believed them? Most people never do this, because they've been taught that it's silly, childish, unscientific, but the science says otherwise. Here's another study that'll blow your mind. Dr. Jan Achterberg worked with patients to visualize specific immune cells. One group visualized their neutrophils, a type of white blood cell. Another group visualized their T cells. Blood tests before and after showed something stunning. The neutrophil group had a significant increase in neutrophils, but not T cells. The T cell group had a significant increase in T cells, but not neutrophils. Let that sink in. The mind didn't just boost the immune system in some vague, general way. It targeted specific cell types. Based on the image held in consciousness, your mind can control processes so precise, so specific that it rivals any pharmaceutical intervention. This is the power you've had all along. You just didn't know you had permission to use it. So here's my question for you. What would happen if you started treating your imagination not as escapism, but as a tool? What if you began crafting images of your body in perfect health? Not someday, but now? What if you gave your cells, your organs, your immune system a clear vision of wholeness, not as a replacement for medical care, but as a partnership with it? Because here's the truth, healing isn't something that happens to you. It's something you participate in, actively, consciously, holographically. And if Frank could do it with terminal cancer, what's stopping you? Ready to go deeper? Let's look at the most controversial evidence of all, the placebo effect. Let me tell you about a man named Wright. Wright had advanced lymphosarcoma, cancer of the lymph nodes. His tumors were the size of oranges. His doctors had tried everything. Nothing worked. He was dying. Then he heard about a new miracle drug called Crebiozin. He begged his doctors to give it to him. They were skeptical, but Wright was so convinced this drug would save him that they finally agreed. They gave him the injection on a Friday. By Monday, Wright was up and walking around. Within 10 days, his tumors had, in the words of his astonished doctor, melted like snowballs on a hot stove. Wright was cured. He went home. He resumed his life. The drug had worked. But then, 2 months later, reports began circulating that Crebiozin was ineffective. Studies showed no benefit. Wright read these reports, and within days, his cancer returned. The tumors grew back. He deteriorated rapidly. His doctor, realizing what had happened, decided to try something radical. He told Wright that the earlier reports were wrong, that a new, improved version of Crebiozin had just been developed, and it was far more powerful than the original. Wright was ecstatic. He received the injection. Except this time, it was a placebo, just saline, nothing. And yet, his tumors vanished again. Completely. Wright was cancer-free. He felt fantastic. He was convinced he'd been saved. For 2 months, he thrived until the American Medical Association released a final definitive report. Crebiozin was worthless. It had no therapeutic value whatsoever. Wright read the report. Within 2 days, he was dead. Now, let's be very clear about what happened here. Wright's tumors didn't melt because of Crebiozin. They melted because Wright believed Crebiozin would work. When that belief was shaken, the tumors returned. When the belief was restored, even with a completely inert substance, the tumors vanished again. And when the belief was finally destroyed, so was Wright. His belief was the medicine. His belief was also the poison. This is what the holographic model reveals. Your beliefs aren't passive observations about reality. They're active forces that shape reality. They collapse the wave function. They determine which possibility manifests. And in the case of your body, your beliefs are writing your biology in real time. Let me give you the data, because I know some of you are thinking, okay, that's a dramatic story, but how common is this really? Placebo has been proven to produce significant results in 35% of patients. In some studies, it's been shown to be 54% as effective as aspirin and 56% as effective as morphine in relieving pain. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Placebos don't just make people feel better. They change measurable biological processes. Placebo treatments have been shown to impact heart pain, headaches, asthma, ulcers, arthritis, even diabetes. There are documented cases where placebo has affected tumor growth. In one study, cancer patients receiving placebo chemotherapy reported the same side effects as patients receiving actual chemotherapy, including hair loss. 30% of them lost their hair. From a sugar pill, think about that. Their belief in the treatment was so strong that their bodies manifested the biological response. Not because of the chemical, because of the belief. This is the part that makes people uncomfortable. Because if belief can create hair loss, if belief can shrink tumors, if belief can rival morphine, then what does that say about the illness you're currently experiencing? I'm not saying your illness isn't real, it is. The pain is real. The symptoms are real. But the question isn't whether it's real. The question is, what's creating it? And more importantly, what could uncreate it? Here's what the research shows. Your body responds to what you believe, not to objective reality. Israeli soldiers on a training march showed hormone levels correlated with their expectation of distance, not the actual distance traveled. A woman with a brain tumor who didn't know the word tumor and therefore didn't believe she was dying. She recovered completely when everyone expected her to die. Your body is listening to your beliefs every moment, every thought, every story you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible for you. And here's the paradox. The moment you try to force healing, you create resistance. But the moment you relax into the belief that healing is already happening, that your body already knows how to be whole, something shifts. The wave collapses. The hologram reorganizes. Wright's story is a warning and a promise. A warning that belief can destroy as easily as it heals, and a promise that if you can stabilize your belief, not in a drug, not in a doctor, but in your own body's innate intelligence, you access a power that medicine is only beginning to understand. So here's my question. What do you believe about your body right now? And is that belief serving you or killing you? Let's go deeper, because there's one more layer to this now. Before you run off and try to think your illness away, we need to talk about the Wright paradox. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Belief is powerful, but belief alone isn't enough. Wright's story is both inspiring and tragic. He healed twice with nothing but belief. But he also died when that belief was shattered. His healing wasn't stable, it was fragile, dependent on external validation. The moment the rug was pulled out from under him, everything collapsed. And this is the danger of chasing quick fixes, of looking for the magic bullet, of treating belief like a drug you can take to get high on hope. Belief without foundation is just wishful thinking, and wishful thinking won't hold up when the world tells you you're wrong. So what's the missing piece? Dr. Larry Dossey, one of the pioneers in mind-body medicine, talks about this beautifully. He says that the real shift happens when you stop seeing illness as an enemy from the outside and start seeing it as information from the inside. Not, I am sick because a disease attacked me, but I am sick because my wholeness has been disrupted. Let me explain. In the holographic model, nothing exists in isolation. Everything is connected. Your physical health isn't separate from your emotional state, your relationships, your diet, your sleep, your stress levels, your childhood wounds, your beliefs about yourself. You're not a body with a mind. You're a unified field of consciousness expressing itself as a body. And when that field becomes incoherent, fragmented, conflicted, out of alignment, it shows up as disease. Here's a study that illustrates this perfectly. Patients with chronic headaches were asked to keep a detailed journal, not just tracking their headaches, but recording everything. What they ate, how they slept, what emotions they felt, what conflicts they were avoiding. And something stunning happened. For many of them, simply becoming aware of the patterns, the wholeness of their experience, caused the headaches to disappear. They didn't add anything. They didn't take any medication. They just saw the connection. And seeing the connection was enough. The same thing happened with children suffering from epilepsy. When they watched videos of themselves having seizures and could connect the episodes to specific emotional states, many of them stopped having seizures altogether, just from awareness, just from seeing the whole picture. This is what I mean by wholeness. Healing isn't about fighting your body, it's about listening to it, understanding it, integrating it, and this is where visualization, belief, and placebo become truly powerful. Not as isolated techniques, but as part of a holistic approach. Frank didn't just visualize healing 3 times a day and ignore the rest of his life. He changed how he related to his body. He stopped seeing cancer as an enemy and started seeing it as a signal, a message, an invitation to transform. Wright, on the other hand, put all his faith in an external substance. When that substance was debunked, his entire worldview collapsed. He had no internal foundation, no coherent sense of his own power. This is the shift I want you to make, not I need the perfect belief to heal me, but I am already whole and my body is trying to restore that wholeness. The question isn't, how do I make my body do what I want? The question is, what is my body trying to tell me? Maybe your chronic pain is asking you to slow down. Maybe your autoimmune condition is reflecting a war you're waging internally. Against yourself, your past, your unmet needs. Maybe your illness is the only way your system knows how to get your attention. And here's the beautiful part. When you approach healing from this place of wholeness, belief stops being fragile. It stops being dependent on external validation. Because you're not believing in a pill or a technique or even a miraculous cure. You're believing in the intelligence of life itself. The same intelligence that grew you from a single cell. The same intelligence that heals your cuts, fights infections, regenerates tissue every single day without you having to think about it. That intelligence hasn't abandoned you. It's still here, still working, still trying to bring you back into balance. But it needs your cooperation. It needs you to stop fighting, stop fragmenting, stop treating your body like a broken machine and start treating it like the holographic miracle it is. So here's what I want you to sit with. Not what do I need to fix, but what does my body need me to understand? And once you have that answer, once you see the pattern, the wholeness, the coherence, the healing often takes care of itself. But there's one more thing I need to show you. One final piece of evidence that'll blow everything wide open. Because if you think what I've shared so far is radical, wait until you hear this. Let me tell you about a phenomenon so bizarre, so well documented and so completely ignored by mainstream medicine that it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about human biology. Multiple personality disorder, or as it's now called, dissociative identity disorder. You've probably heard of it. Different personalities occupying the same body, switching back and forth. Sounds like Hollywood fiction, right? Except here's what the medical literature shows. When these personalities switch, their biology switches too. I'm not talking about mood or behavior. I'm talking about measurable, objective, physiological changes. One personality is allergic to orange juice, breaks out in hives. Another personality in the same body drinks orange juice with no reaction. None. One personality has diabetes, requires insulin. Another personality switches in, and the diabetes vanishes. Blood sugar normalizes instantly. One personality is nearsighted, needs glasses. Another personality has perfect vision. There are documented cases of wounds healing at different rates depending on which personality is present. Cases of one personality being drunk while another is stone sober. Cases where a person gets stung by a bee, the eye swells up, and then, when a different personality takes over who has anesthetic abilities, the swelling goes away, just like that. And here's the kicker. There are cases, documented, peer-reviewed cases, where tumors have appeared and disappeared depending on which personality was in control. Let that sink in. The same body, the same DNA, but different conscious identities, and with them, different biological realities. How is this possible? One patient, a woman named Cassandra, explained it beautifully. She said that people with MPD engage in something called parallel processing. Most people have one stream of consciousness running at a time. But people with MPD can run multiple streams simultaneously. Cassandra had a personality named Celise, who was obsessed with anatomy and physiology. Celise spent 24/7, even when other personalities were in control, visualizing the body in perfect health, monitoring every system, correcting imbalances, essentially doing what Frank did with his cancer, but constantly, automatically, without effort. And the result? Cassandra's body stayed healthy, healed faster, functioned better. Now here's what's important. Cassandra didn't have special DNA. She didn't have access to experimental drugs or secret techniques. She just had, whether intentionally or not, a part of her consciousness fully dedicated to maintaining coherence in her holographic body. And this is the point, the radical, mind-blowing, world-shattering point. You have this ability too, not the multiple personalities part, but the ability to consciously direct your biology, to hold a coherent image of health so vivid, so consistent that your body has no choice but to follow. The only difference between you and someone like Cassandra is that she does it unconsciously, automatically, as a survival mechanism. But you can do it consciously, intentionally, with full awareness. Dr. Bennett Braun, who studied MPD extensively, said this: "We all have the ability to control these things. The only question is how to gain access to it." This is what the holographic model has been trying to tell us all along. Your body isn't a fixed, mechanical structure. It's a dynamic, responsive hologram, constantly updating, constantly reorganizing based on the information field of your consciousness. Change the field and the hologram changes. Every cell in your body is a holographic fragment containing the information of the whole. And every thought, every belief, Every image you hold is a signal being broadcast to every single cell simultaneously. MPD patients prove that this isn't theoretical. It's real, it's measurable, and it's available to all of us. Think about what this means. If a shift in conscious identity can turn diabetes on and off like a light switch, what does that say about the chronic condition you've been told is permanent? If a shift in conscious identity can make allergies appear and disappear, what does that say about the autoimmune issues you've been managing for years? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you can just think your way out of serious illness without medical support. What I'm saying is that the power you've been looking for outside yourself, in doctors, in pills, in procedures, has been inside you the entire time. The holographic mind isn't separate from the holographic body. They're one system, one field, one unbroken whole. And when you align that field, when you create coherence, clarity, intention, your biology follows. This is the evidence, this is the proof, this is the permission you've been waiting for. You are not your diagnosis. You are not a victim of your biology. You are the conscious observer collapsing the quantum field into form, and that form, your body, is waiting for your instructions. So what are you going to tell it? So let's bring this home. Let's make it practical. Because I know what some of you are thinking. This all sounds incredible, but how do I actually do this? Here's the beautiful part. You don't need to be special. You don't need years of training. You don't need perfect concentration or superhuman discipline. Frank healed his cancer with 15 minutes 3 times a day. That's it. Not hours, not marathons of meditation. 15 minutes. And what was he doing? He was creating a coherent image. A clear signal, a vivid, sensory-rich visualization of his body in perfect health. That's the key, coherence. Your body doesn't respond to vague wishes. I hope I feel better isn't a signal, it's noise. But I see my immune system as a powerful army, sweeping through every cell, removing what doesn't belong. That's a signal. The more specific, the more visceral, the more real you can make it in your mind's eye, the more your holographic body responds. So here's what I want you to try. Not because I'm prescribing it, not because it's the only way, but because it's simple, accessible, and backed by research. Find 15 minutes, morning, evening, doesn't matter. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and see your body as you want it to be, not someday. Now, if you have pain, see that area flooded with healing light. If you have inflammation, see it cooling, calming, dissolving. If you have a condition, see your body strong, vibrant, whole. Don't force it. Don't strain. Just hold the image. Let it be as real as a memory, because to your holographic brain, it is a memory from the future you're creating. Do this consistently every day and watch what happens. But here's the other part. Remember what we talked about, wholeness. Visualization is powerful, but it's not a magic trick. You can't visualize health while ignoring the messages your body is sending. So ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? What do I need to release? What do I need to change? Where am I out of alignment? Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's your stress. Maybe it's an old belief that you're not worthy of health. Maybe it's a relationship that's draining your life force. Healing is an inside job. It's not about adding something from the outside. It's about removing the interference, restoring coherence, remembering wholeness. And when you do that, when you combine the power of conscious visualization with the wisdom of listening to your body, you tap into something extraordinary. You become a conscious participant in your own healing, not a victim, not a patient, a creator. And that changes everything. So here's where we are. You've seen the evidence, Frank, right? The placebo studies, the MPD cases. You've seen that your mind and body aren't separate, that your beliefs, your images, your consciousness, they're not just thoughts. They're forces, creative forces, shaping your biology in real time. And you've been given permission to trust yourself, permission to explore your own power, permission to believe that healing isn't something that happens to you. It's something you participate in. Now, this is episode 9 of the Beyond Reality series. And if what we've covered today has opened your eyes, I need to tell you something. Episode 10 is going to blow them wide open. We're going deeper than visualization, deeper than belief. We're diving into cases where consciousness didn't just heal disease, it rewrote genetic code. A boy with a genetic skin condition that medicine said was incurable, healed in 10 days through hypnosis. A man whose hip bone completely disintegrated from cancer, then reconstructed itself, bone growing back where no bone should exist. Cases so extreme that even the Vatican Medical Commission had to declare them miracles. How deep does consciousness go? How much control do we really have? The answers are in episode 10. The playlist and next video links are in the description below. But before you go, drop one word in the comments. One word that describes your body right now. Or one word that describes the body you're choosing to create. Let's build this field of coherence together. And if this resonated, if something shifted in you, hit that subscribe button, because we're going deeper with every episode. This isn't just information, this is transformation. Your body is a hologram, your mind is the projector, and the image you hold becomes your lived reality. The cure was never out there, it's in here. In the infinite intelligence that's been running your body since before you were born. Trust it, cooperate with it, and watch what unfolds. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, create consciously.